The iForm walkthrough tool is focused on data collection around observable behaviors. And specifically, we are looking for observable behaviors in the classroom that indicate rigor in instruction. We will now look at the information that is collected on the iForm walkthrough tool. First, our basic information. Who is the administrator that is completing the walkthrough? Who is the teacher? What department is the class within? What time did the class take place? What was the date? And what period? Next, we'll look at observable behaviors that relate to classroom rigor within the context of content. First, are essential questions evident? Was the objective of the lesson clear? Next, is there evidence of critical thinking? Meaning, are students displaying the ability to evaluate information and opinions systematically? Third, is there evidence of creative thinking? Are students looking at problems or situations from an original perspective and suggesting original solutions? Are students annotating or marking text? Are students providing written responses? If the class is having a discussion, are students providing text-based support for their opinions? Or are the students taking notes on what is going on in the classroom? The next area related to rigor that we'll look at is assessment. First, can students articulate the purpose of the lesson? Do they know the objective, or the essential question, or the driving question? Second, can students articulate how the evaluation is connected to the lesson? Could the student tell me how they will be held accountable for what they're learning? Third, are exemplars of student work rotated or displayed in the classroom? Fourth, is there evidence of formative assessment? Formative meaning information that's gathered informally or formally by a teacher or student that then would provide us information that shows that assessment data is informing instruction, whether it's summative assessment or formative assessment. The next area that we'll look at is cognitive engagement. First on the list of observable behaviors, are students using prior knowledge to connect with the lesson? Second, can students execute strategies without support when appropriate? Third, are student activities moving through multiple levels of cognition? For example, are students applying the material? Or are they answering knowledge-based questions? Are they working on activities which relate to comprehension or evaluation? Next, is there structured student collaboration, and is it occurring around lesson goals? And then finally, are students held individually accountable within those collaborative activities? We need to ensure that we're checking each group member to see what their level of mastery is within the activity that we've asked the group to complete. The next area that we'll look at is instruction. The first behavior, can we observe that purpose is a part of classroom dialogue? Are we telling our students why, or helping them establish why we're doing what we are doing? Is the lesson strategically adjusted to support students? Are we differentiating? Third, are learning strategies used to facilitate understanding? And more specifically, was the learning strategy used effective for the target of the lesson or the objective of the lesson. Fourth, are grouping strategies used to support learning? Are we being thoughtful about our group selection? Fifth, do we observe questioning scaffolding to higher complexity? And are we giving our students wait time to answer those more complex questions? And finally, are practice activities aligned to performance expectations of assessments? Are we practicing volleyball and then asking our players to play in a basketball game? Practice makes perfect only if you are practicing what you will perform. So our assessment must align to how we ask students to practice demonstrating their understanding of the material. Next, we'll move away from the observable behaviors that relate to rigor, and we'll collect information on technology. What's the projector, the video camera, a regular camera, computers, active board, calculators? What technology items were used in the classroom? We'll then collect data on the number of students off task. Basically, how many students were not participating in the expected behavior. We'll also mark whether reinforcing language was used. Was the teacher direct and action-oriented when expectations were described to the students? Were the expectations clear? And finally, there will be a place on the form where the administrator can provide comments, either through typing or writing those comments. An administrator may also take a picture of an artifact in the classroom, teacher's email for which the observation was being conducted, and send an email immediately once the observation is complete.